This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and I want to welcome you to the New You webinar. I am an author, speaker, trainer. I'm a retired attorney by profession and have been in the personal development and leadership industry for over 35 years. Was formerly the CEO of the Science of Living Institute in New York City and presently CEO of the Life Skill Institute. And we do personal development, leadership development, and marketing development training. I'm a master transformational trainer and a network marketing expert. I've been in the industry, for over 30 years and a part of the $1 Million Earner Group. So with that being said and done, let us get moving. As an author, we've written 8 books and they've been translated into, at least 8 languages. And our most popular book is The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And much of the content in this webinar comes from the 12 Universal Laws of Success. So this is, once again, an official welcome to the New You for the New Year Transformational Webinar, Session 7. And our topic is Making a Breakthrough. Before we get into that, though, I want to make sure that we had an assignment last week and to start your 21-day challenge and also to review all the materials to date. I know that we've been moving rather quickly, but it's important to review your materials and not get too far behind and use these next couple of weeks. We have one more webinar and another mastermind session to really bring yourself up to date so that you can get the maximum benefit from the class. The 21-day challenge was the idea of, for 21 days, to each night before you go to bed, to write out your list of things to do the next day, to follow that plan, to do the things the next day, and at the end of the day, to cross off the things you accomplished, and then at the next night before you go to bed again, to complete that. And it's a 21-day challenge. The way I had put it together, the way that my teacher taught me, you would prepare the list of things to do, your daily plan for the next day before you go to bed. In the morning when you get up, we had a symbol of your life. I had a brass cup with inlaid silver, and I would set that cup upright and I'd say, I am open for business, ready to do what must be done to make this day exactly the way I want it to be. And during the day, you'd follow that plan, your plan of activities, and at the end of the day, you would turn your cup upside down, turn it back over now, and say, today I did everything I could with what I had to do it with to make tomorrow the way I want it to be. That if you can do that for 21 days, trust me, you will accomplish all the things you set out to do because you will have made a breakthrough. We're going to focus on a number of laws now. Because we have a workbook, one of the things that we love for you to do is to use the workbook to go cover to cover in the 12 Universal Laws of Success. But what we've been doing in this 8-session webinar is putting combinations of the laws together so that you can see how they operate in a system for success. We'll focus today primarily on the 3rd law of success, the law of vision. And that deals with the things you want to be doing, have your vision of it. Scripturally, it says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets that he may run that readeth it. And so your vision is that picture of the way you want your life to be. We're going to look at the 9th law of success, the law of relationships. And that's a powerful law because in order to take your whole program to the next level, the law of relationships really comes from, you might say, the I am power, the fact that when 2 or more are gathered on one accord, I am, the making power is between them. I am among them. And so when we put that I am power to work, 1 + 1 is more than 2. And so relationships give you a way to leverage your effectiveness. And then the 10th law of success, the law of supply, that there's no such thing in the universe as scarcity, that everything that you need to become whatever you want to be is always available. All right, so let us get started. Okay, good. Welcome. We have some other members here. Good, good. Adrian, Carolyn, Wida. Good, good. And some others are signing in. Great, great. Welcome. And all is well. Everyone can hear and see everything properly. Excellent, excellent. All right, let's get to work. So what is a breakthrough and why is it important? You know, I often like to go to the definition of a breakthrough. And from the dictionary, there are a number of definitions. One, an offensive thrust that penetrates and carries beyond a defensive line in warfare. You know, the Battle of the Bulge in World War II, the breakthrough of the enemy lines, the Normandy invasion, the Allied forces were able to make a breakthrough. They broke through the enemy lines, and that was the beginning of the end for the World War II, the Germans. Another definition of breakthrough, an active breaking through some obstacle. That often in life we are confronted with obstacles, and when we are able to break through, to overcome, to pass through that obstacle, that's often known as a breakthrough. Also, a sudden advance in knowledge or technique. In science, we'll often have that thought of a breakthrough invention, a breakthrough piece of knowledge. For example, Albert Einstein in the theory of relativity was a breakthrough. He developed the theory of special relativity, especially in the early 1900s, and it took folks 20, 25 years to understand the importance of it. And then finally, a person's first notable success. As a writer, we often say he had his breakthrough book, or as a performer, the breakthrough song. The idea is that your breakthrough is your ability to confront the challenges that will surely be there and overcome them. And so as we put the information obtained in these webinars into action, this question, of course, arises. Are there barriers, obstacles, habits, people, thoughts, emotions, or anything else preventing you from attaining your stated goals, from achieving success? And I like to think of it as from achieving outrageous success. Now, surely there are, because one of the, you might say, one of the life lessons that we will often experience is the fact that when we begin to move beyond where we are to where we want to be, there is a resistance in many forms. Sometimes it's your family, you know, people who want to see you the way you were, you know, whatever relationship they had with you. Sometimes there are people that are domineering people, and they'd like to keep you that way. So when you start talking about flying and becoming successful, they are not that excited about it. When you take this information and begin to pursue success, the success that you have chosen for yourself, the universe, it's interesting, you know, there was a movie called Oh God, and a young man was asking George Burns, who was portraying God, he said, well, if you're God, why do you make sickness and pain and unhappiness? And God said, you know, great question, young man. Even though I'm God, I could never figure out how to make an up without a down, how to make light without darkness. And so a part of the universe, the way things work, is when you begin to step out on faith, when you begin to move to that next level, that there is a resistance that is very natural. And that resistance is really for you, to help you become the person that you can be. We often look at the difference between a diamond and a piece of coal. A diamond and a piece of coal basically have the same chemical composition, but the difference is that when the pressure, when the challenge presses on the carbon atoms, the coal atoms, that pressure can either make that piece of coal become powder, or the resistance to that pressure makes that piece of coal be transformed into a diamond. And so the process of moving on your success journey, in that process, you will encounter challenge after challenge after challenge. And we have to look at these challenges and know that that's a good thing. That's how it works. That these challenges are to help us grow strong, to help us learn what we must learn to go where we desire to go. And so how do we prepare for this? Well, you know, in one of our first lessons, we talked about evaluating where you are. Look at the lessons of the past. And the lessons were those things that you didn't plan for, where sometimes we call it apparent defeats, barriers, obstacles that came into your life experience. Well, one of the things that becomes a great tool for you is commit to learn from the lessons. For example, many times we may set out to accomplish a goal and it just does not work. But because we may only see the now at that moment, we may not see that because that thing didn't work and because we didn't quit, something better was down the line waiting for us. So commit to learn from the lessons, but don't dwell on them. One of the mistakes that people make sometimes is to spend their lives dwelling on the failures, the things that didn't work. It's as though you're driving your car looking in the rear view mirror. There's a reason why the rear view mirror is smaller than the front windshield, because there's a whole lot more for you to be, do, and have than what you've had in the past. So commit to learn from the lessons, but don't dwell on them. Just as important, revisit the victories of the past. Sometimes when we are successful and things work and everything goes well, our ego will take over and we'll be so busy patting ourselves on the back that we don't analyze the victory. We are very often committed to analyze the lessons because we don't want to experience that again. But there is just as much important information to be learned from your victories. And so when you win, when things go exactly the way you wanted them to go, commit to learn from the victories so that you can build on them. So when you're doing the good things and it's working, when you analyze it and learn how to expand it, you can go even higher. So revisit the lessons, but don't dwell on them. Revisit the victories to learn from them and to build on them. So what are the keys to making a breakthrough? And these are, we might look at them as 7 guiding principles that now that you have basically completed the New You webinar series, and now you're armed and fully loaded and ready to go out into the world, these are the keys that will help guide you from breakthrough to breakthrough. So that anytime you experience a setback, then this says every setback is just a setup for a comeback. So the 7 keys to making a breakthrough. Number 1 have clearly defined goals. If your goals are not clearly defined, it won't happen. Number 2, take responsibility for making the breakthrough. If it's to be, it's up to me. Number 3, use your powers of visualization and creativity. You see, you have to see beyond what is to experience what can be. Number 4, leverage your time, your thoughts, your energy, your resources by using the mastermind principle, the I am principle, and tying into the universal source of power. Number 5, use your power of enthusiasm. The Greek translation for enthusiasm is God, theos, in, God from within. In other words, it's a power that radiates from you, that impacts the world. Number 6, establish your priorities. You always have to spend proper time doing proper things to get proper results. And finally, step 7, keep going and growing. All right, let's look at these. Let's take a quick breather. So everybody just sit back for a minute. Take a look up and take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Everyone can hear me and see my screen? Excellent. Thank you, Carolyn. All is well. So, number 1, having clearly defined goals. The main cause of failure is lack of clearly defined goals. Your goals must be clearly and concisely defined in mental and sensory terms. You know, the law of vision says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets. And so your vision, your goals must be so clearly defined that you can focus on them. Not only that, you must not only be able to intellectually describe your goals in terms of in images and words, but more importantly, describe it in terms of sensory impressions and sensory terms of how it looks, how it feels, how it smells, how it sounds, how it moves, and any other aspect that can be perceived by the senses. The first law of success says, a mind shall have whatsoever it thinks, that's that rational part, in its heart. That's that emotional part, that feeling part. And so when you write your goals, you must write them in such a way that you can feel them, you can touch them, you can smell them. When I was a young man, I wanted a car so badly. I couldn't wait to turn 16. And I turned 16 on a Thursday. And on a Friday, I bought a car. Prior to that time, I had gone to that car lot each and every day and looked at that car and walked around that car and asked the fellow if I could look at it. And he humored me. I was a 16-year-old, a small 16-year-old. But I remember getting in that car and smelling that new car smell and looking at all the buttons. And let me tell you something. I had that car in my mind. I could feel how I was going to feel when I drove it. And it didn't have air conditioning in those days. I could feel the window down and the wind blowing on my face. When you begin to put your goals together, to write your goals, you have to see it and feel it in those type of sensory terms. You see, when you can see it and feel it that way, it does something to you. It activates that sense of energy, that emotional energy inside of us that then can give us the desire to make it happen. You see, when you write your goal will only be obtained or attained in direct proportion to your level of desire. And desire is an emotional experience. And so when you can now describe your goal in sensory terms, you can stimulate your desire then. And once that desire is stimulating, failure is not an option. Number 2, take responsibility for your breakthrough. You can only change those things that you take responsibility for. Denial, excuses, and blame will undermine and neutralize your breakthrough. Example, when a situation confronts you, many of us are in business for ourselves. We're in, let's just say, network marketing. And we're confronted with people who seem to be committed to staying sick and broke. Well, we can look at that and we can say, well, we can't become successful because these people want to stay sick and broke. And so we can make excuses then, for our lack of success by saying it's their fault, by blaming them. The people of this city don't want to make any money and they want to stay sick. Sometimes denial can undermine our breakthrough. Very often there'll be things about us and about our loved ones that we don't want to face. Sometimes we may have because of our childhood, we may have a real strong fear of rejection. We hate for people to tell us no. And that fear consumes us, and then we participate in denial by denying that it exists. We don't have a fear. It's no problem. Everything is fine. And as a result, we're never able to overcome that fear of rejection. And so as challenges confront us, we'll never make the breakthrough because we're so busy saying that it does not exist, that it's somebody else's fault. If it's to be, it's up to me. That's a power affirmation. And I think anytime you're confronted with challenges, let that affirmation ring in your head. If it's to be, it's up to me. I can handle this. If it's to be, it's up to me. It's done. Use your successes, those victories, as a frame of reference. Very often when I'm confronted with a serious challenge, I remember walking on the hot coals with Tony Robbins. And I came away with an affirmation that says, if I can do that, I can do this. If I can walk on 16 feet of hot coals, then these people who seem to not be interested in what I'm doing are irrelevant, because there are a lot of other people between here and the bank that I can talk to, that I can share my program with. So take responsibility for your success, and remember, if it's to be, it's up to me. Number 3, use your powers of visualization and creativity. Many times you have to adjust your perspective. I think Albert Einstein once said that you cannot solve a problem at the level of consciousness at which the problem was created. And so your powers of visualization gives you the ability to see beyond what is to what can be. So be solution-oriented rather than problem-oriented. Sometimes we have to change our words, that law of success, the law of command. What you say is what you get. So rather than say, I have a problem, Maybe you just change your perspective and say, I have a project. Projects are completed. Problems may not be solved. So sometimes that change of perspective, so that when you see something, you put the power of anticipation to work. When you say inside, I know there's a solution. I just got to find it. I know there's good to come out of this situation. I just got to pursue it. Look at every situation as an opportunity for growth. You know, time is a powerful concept. And as we grow in our level of personal development, we become more and more circumspect about time, in that we can see in the now in a way that incorporates the future. So you know, often when you go to the gym, they say no pain, no gain. So you can look at the sore muscles you'll have, but if you visualize the beautiful body you're going to have 6 months down the line, then it makes those sore muscles and that experience tolerable. Know that you already have everything you need to get everything you want. There's an affirmation I love to share, and it says this: I already have everything I need to get everything I want. I'll say that again. I already have everything I need to get everything I want. The law of supply, the 10th law of success, the law of supply is very helpful, because the law of supply says there's always enough of whatever you need. And so maybe you just have to change the set of the sails, the perspective, to see it, to see the good in it. Another power affirmation is, I know there is a great and possible solution, and it is on the way. I'll say that again. I know there is a great and possible solution, and it is on the way. So when the obstacles confront you and you can repeat that affirmation, it begins to open up your consciousness to things beyond that which is, so that you can do that which you must do to create the life you desire for yourself. So using your powers of visualization and creativity, amazing. You know, Albert Einstein also said that imagination is more powerful than knowledge, because knowledge is limited to what is, where an imagination has absolutely no bounds. All right, let's take a little short break. Sit up in your seat for a moment. Put your pens down. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. All right, back to work. The 10th law of success, the law of supply and opportunity, states that everything necessary for abundant life is ever present and always available. There is an endless supply of whatever you need wherever you are. I love to watch some of those survival programs. In the military, when you take survival training, you're taught to see that wherever you are, there's always something you can use for food, and always something from which you can fashion a weapon. And so applying that same, you might say, consciousness, that whatever confronts you in your growth, just know that there's always a positive outcome. There's always a supply of whatever you need. And when you open that expectancy, it can flow into your experience of life. So to obtain the health, wealth, and happiness you desire, look first within yourself for thoughts, ideas, and feelings that are in harmony with health, wealth, and happiness. There's a passage that says, seek first the kingdom. Kingdom is consciousness, and all these things will be added unto you. When you seek first the consciousness of that which you're seeking, and that simply means to look within and seek the good health. Look within and feel healthy. Look within and feel wealthy. Look within and feel happy. Because under the law of attraction, whatever you are within, you attract into your space. And so it's always an inside job that sometimes we may be just completely broke. And you've seen people who were absolutely broke. One of my great teachers, Tom Hopkins, years ago told a story of a young man who had been one of his students, and he had built these incredible developments. I mean, multi-million-dollar developments down in Florida. And with a downturn in the economy, he went into bankruptcy. And a couple years later, he shows up with Tom, and he brings these aerial photographs, and he's showing this new development he has in mind. And he looks Tom in the eye, and he says, Tom, I need a favor. Tom says, sure. I'm so proud of you. What is it? He said, I need you to co-sign for me to get a Rolls Royce. Now, at that time, a Rolls Royce was only about $125,000, $150,000. Tom had to take a deep breath, and he had to get back to the guy. He said, well, let me, you know how when somebody asks you something that profound, let me get back to you. Let me look at some things, etc. Guy says, no problem. I'll give you a call tomorrow. Tom went back and he looked, and he found that the guy had, of course, gone into bankruptcy, but that after going into bankruptcy and the creditors couldn't collect a dime, that in making his comeback, he'd actually gone and paid all of those people off because they were friends and people he'd done business with. So that said that that man had a certain type of character within. And Tom proceeded to co-sign for the Rolls Royce. To actually make these thoughts, ideas, and feelings manifest in your life experience, you must do more than just think about them. You must take action. Now, in that instance, the person who needed that Rolls Royce, who wanted Tom to co-sign, he took action, even though there was no legal authority to make him pay the money back. Bankruptcy discharges you of your debt obligations. His moral obligation, his sense of who he was, made him pay it back. J.P. Morgan once says, I don't judge a man when things are going good. I judge a man by how he responds when things are going tough and going bad. Pursue these thoughts, ideas, and feelings actively, intelligently, and continuously. A part of your 21-day plan should also be to read your goals over 3 or 4 times a day. Really and truly to have them written up in a narrative form that you can memorize it so that you can say it as you're walking along. You know, many of the, especially Hebrew scholars, people who get so totally into the study of religious concepts, they will literally memorize the Bible, memorize the Torah, memorize the Bhagavad Gita. So they say it over and over so that it becomes a part of them. Know that you will experience health, wealth, and happiness as a result of your efforts. The law of expectation and expectancy is awesome. Seek and you shall find. Ask and it shall be answered. Knock and it shall be opened. In other words, whatever you pursue, will come to you based on how you feel about yourself with respect to that which you're seeking. So if you're seeking wealth and you feel unworthy of wealth inside, it will elude you. But if you feel inside that worthiness for wealth, that worthiness for health, that worthiness for happiness, nothing can stop it from coming your way. There is an endless supply of whatever you need to get whatever you want. So, of course, the thought comes up, well, if that's so, why is there lack and limitation? Why is there scarcity? Why do people experience negativity? Why does this happen? Well, scarcity, lack, and limitation exist only in your mind. We often talk about perspective. We say there's a glass, and one person will say it's half empty, coming from the consciousness of lack and limitation. It's half empty, and it will soon all be gone. Another person will say, wow, it's half full, and more is on the way. Same glass, just a different perspective. Since you control the thoughts in your mind, you can choose to do anything you want to do. You can choose how to respond to a particular situation. You can choose to have anything you want to have. You can choose to be whatever you want to be, because you define the world on your terms, knowing that there's always enough of whatever you desire to become the person you want to be. If you think abundance in your thoughts, if you see abundance in your imagination, your mind's eye, if you feel abundance in your heart, if you believe abundance in your soul, you will have abundance in your life experience. And when I say see it and feel it, whatever your representation of abundance, it may be being on the beach with the sun beaming down on you, and you can feel the warmth of the sun. You can hear the waves crashing against the sand. You can feel the wind blowing gently on your face, and you just sort of puff up and feel good about it. Well, anything that you can do that, you can then attract that into your experience. Number 4, leverage your time, your thoughts, your energy, and your resources. To make a breakthrough, we want to learn to work smarter and harder. You know, I've heard people say, well, when you work smarter, you don't have to work harder. I say do them both. Work smarter. If you're working smarter and getting the results that you desire, then why not work harder and get even more of those results? So learn to work smarter and harder. Utilize the power of leverage by getting other people involved to help you be what you want to be, help you do what you want to do, and help you have whatever you desire. You see, once you put the mastermind principle, the I am principle, to work, when 2 or more are gathered on one accord, I am among them. The power to get things done where 1 + 1 is more than 2. And so you can leverage your efforts by working with other people. You can leverage your time by sharing the work. You know, they often say big jobs, when you have many hands, makes big jobs light work. You see, the 9th law of success, the law of relationships, You can use it to leverage your time, your thoughts, your energy, and your resources through the knowledge, energy, and resources of other people. When you start to build your dream, you're going to need other people to help you. The thing that makes them be attracted to you is your own clarity about what you desire. And so you have to first be very, very clear about what you want. Remember, she said the clarity of your goals, and feel them in such a depth that when you interact with other people, they get it. Not only do they get it, they feel it and they want to work with you. When we look at relationships, the 5 most powerful words are, I am proud of you. Those words, and the chapter on relationship, I'd recommend that you study it, because when you recognize the power of relationship through the I am principle, and then through the mastermind principle, where you get many minds on one accord, nothing is impossible. Number 5, making your breakthrough. To use your power of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is one of your most important assets. It is an infectious state of mind that gets for you the cooperation of other people, attracting them to your way of thinking and acting. In ancient times, the Greek entheos, God within, very often when people demonstrated extreme enthusiasm, in ancient times, they said they were possessed, that there was some power within them. Well, see, we have that power of enthusiasm where when we are focused on something we really want, something that we're clear about, and when that focus between where we are and where we want to be is totally powerful, we become magnetic. And we radiate energy through that enthusiasm that make other people want to be with us, that make other people want to help us, that make other people want to work with us. When you are enthusiastic about where you are going, people notice it and make way for you. The world makes way for those who know where they are going. We hear it over and over. Everybody loves a winner. Everybody loves the person who seems like they know what they're doing. John Kennedy once said that success has 1,000 fathers and failure is a bastard. So when you radiate success, when you exude success, everybody wants to be with you. So use your power of enthusiasm through your faith in that which you're seeking, through the focus that you demonstrate through your discipline, and through your actions that you're going for it. Number 6, I tell you folks, when you complete this, when you go out looking for your breakthrough, you're going to be not only bulletproof, bazooka proof. When you establish your priorities, this is key because we all have the same amount of time in a day. Every minute has the same 60 seconds, whether you're a Rockefeller or a homeless person. Every hour has 60 minutes. Every day has 24 hours. And so once you see the vision of what you want to be, do, and have as a result of your breakthrough, then set your priorities in accord with what has to be done to realize that vision. See, there are 3 things that will bring about your success. You must have a written goal. You must have a written plan to achieve that goal. And then you must act on it. And so priorities give you a blueprint for action. You see, you never spend dollar time on penny jobs. You use your time priority, your time question, which is always, what is the best use of my time right now when I consider my goals, my vision, and my purpose? So priorities give you the ability to maximize the use of your time to get maximum results. And finally, number 7, keep going and growing. You know, success is about the journey, not the destination. It's more important what you become on the success journey than where you end up on the success journey. We have to commit to continuous and constant personal development. Your breakthrough will come in direct proportion to your level of personal development. Many of us who are in sales or network marketing, and when you really think about it, no matter what you do, you're always selling something. On your job, you are selling your value to your employer. Because believe me, if that employer does not think that you're giving anything of value, they're going to stop paying you. And so when you commit to constant and continuous personal development, we often say in network marketing that the level of your success varies directly with the level of your personal development. Have you been able to overcome lack of focus? Have you been able to learn self-discipline? Have you been able to overcome rejection? You see, when you keep going and growing, there's that faith that everything beyond is always something good for you. That no matter what happens, it's a positive thing and a good perspective is on the way. So you must be committed to learn more. Oprah once said, when I learned more, I did better. When you learn more, you can be more. One of the great things about exposure, and for our young people, I wish that they could all get off the porch and go and see the world, because the more that you can see, the greater your level of exposure, you expand your frame of reference. If you've never seen a mountain, then you don't know how that feels. Once you've stood upon Pikes Peak at about 15,000 feet, so high up in Colorado that you can see 150 miles on a clear day, you get a certain kind of feeling that you can't get from sitting on the porch. And so be willing to get out and experience more, because the greater your exposure, the greater your frame of reference, the greater your consciousness. So learn more so you can be more. Learn more so that you can do more. When I learned that I could walk on hot coals, I say I can do anything. I guarantee each and every one of you on this call, there's something that you've learned from some great thing that you've overcome. Some challenge that others would look at and say, throw in the towel, quit, go home. When you looked at it as a challenge and you say, I know there's good for me. When you learn more, you can have more. And so keep going and growing. When you're looking for a breakthrough, look in the mirror, because the answer is there. We often say, you always bring yourself to the party. You know, two people can come to the same party and one will say, ooh, this is a lousy party. I don't like these people and they don't seem to like me. And the person standing right next to him, seeing the very same people and environment, say, wow, what a great party. Everybody seems so happy. And so this breakthrough, recognize that you are responsible. When you look in that mirror, you know, if it's to be, it's up to me. That person that you see in the mirror has the power to create the dream, the power to create the vision, the power to create the sensory expression of what you want to be, what you want to do, and whatever you want to have. It only takes a decision to get it done. Choose this day whom you will serve. We are where we are because of the decisions we make and the actions we take. Our decisions are manifested choices. So we choose by deciding on a particular course of action, and we get the results thereof. Even if you don't make a decision has been made. We often talk of life as being as though we're a sailboat on a great sea, and that sea is life. Well, if we choose to turn off our engines, if we choose to lower our sails, and we choose to sit there on the deck and cross our hands, the river of life is moving. So a choice is made. Decide on your breakthrough. Whatever it is that looks like it's going to stop you, decide on your breakthrough and visualize your breakthrough. Visualize the other side. We always talk about the promised land. Nowhere will you ever see anything about the promised land where there's not some challenge. The challenge makes you worthy to possess it, to walk the length and breadth, to experience it. So visualize your breakthrough, take action on your breakthrough, and it will be done. Don't worry about the facts. The facts will take care of themselves. As Einstein said, imagination is greater than reality, greater than education. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the how. The power of faith and focus is so strong that when you're confronted with that challenge and you see yourself on the other side with a breakthrough, it's going to happen. When you visualize your life exactly the way you want it to be, exactly the way it will be when your breakthrough is realized, it is done. When you can see it, when you can feel it, when you can smell it, when you can experience your breakthrough in every sensory way, it will become a reality. You see, your reality is created from your imagination. Your imagination is the blueprint for your reality. And you have the power to imagine as big as forever. You have the power to imagine all things. And if you can imagine it, you can do it. Where your imagination leads, your reality will follow, regardless of the facts and circumstances. When we talk about a breakthrough, we think back, and I think it was Frank Bannister when he ran the 4-minute mile. For 2,000 years, the facts and circumstances said that a human being could not run a mile in 4 minutes. But he ignored the facts. He ignored the circumstances. He visualized himself crossing that finishing line in less than 4 minutes, and it was so. You see, the moment you make a breakthrough, you have literally created an opening for the world. One of the best things you can do for other people is to be an example. When people see your breakthrough, they know it's possible. When I saw people walk on the hot coals and not be burned, then I knew I could do it. Folks, your breakthrough is on the way. That whatever confronts you, Whatever challenges you may have, look at them as incredible opportunities for growth, knowing that you can be what you want to be, do whatever you want to do, and have whatever you want to have. By seeing it, by being it, by feeling it, by acting on it, and it is done. Your breakthrough is at hand. All right. Wow, this completes session 7. And next week, we will do session 8, which was only success. We'll also talk about how you can help and how you can impact other people by sharing this wisdom, this knowledge, this technique with them, and how you can benefit from this sharing. Your assignment for next week. We are coming now to the completion of this cycle. And number 1, to write 2 most important goals. 2 most important of your goals, and develop a plan of action to achieve these goals, a written plan of action. Number 2, to list any negative beliefs that are holding you back and how you plan to confront them. If rejection is an issue, then what are you going to do to overcome the fear of rejection? If disorganization is an issue, then what are you going to do to overcome disorganization? Number 3, share your written budget and how you will use it to enhance your financial security. We just had a class on the budgeting, looking at a budget not as a historical document, but as an affirmative document that you can use to change your actions, to conserve your finances. We were sharing the other day that if you don't know where your money goes, then it's really not that important where it comes from. Because if you don't know where it's going to leave you. Number 4, to share in writing what steps you will take to manage your time more effectively. Are you going to fix your phone so that it doesn't ring every time somebody thinks about you? Are you going to let people know that there's certain times of the day that you do not want to be interrupted? So unless the house is burning down now, don't interrupt me. And then finally, number 5, to identify a person you would like to work with as an accountability partner, because when we complete this cycle, it's important that you have someone that you can relate to, who can help you, who can support you, who can encourage you. Don't forget our closed Facebook page. And I challenge you to go to the Facebook page tonight and write some comments about what happened in this class. Put down some notes about the message you got from this class. You can get our Facebook page, www.newusuccessteam.info. newusuccessteam.info. Also, check that Facebook page for important updates. Start sharing some of your lessons. I think all of us who are on this journey would really appreciate learning how you have been applying the laws of success. So, folks, it has been my honor to share with you class number 7 of the New You webinars. A system, an 8-part class to teach you how to do what you want to do, be what you want to be, and have whatever you want to have. Remember this, the best is yet to come.